We were driving in the car, I remember, and he was looking out the car window, and he would sort of zone out for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds at a time or whatever, and we thought he was ignoring us, so we reprimanded him.
At his 7-year checkup, when we finally realized that he was having seizures, those were petit mal seizures.
The doctor says, oh, is there any other issues? Anything else? Because perfectly normal kid. We're like, well, he does this thing, and we told them.
We really thought it was nothing. We thought, or else we would have discussed it with each other.
And the doctor he's like, look, I'm not a neurologist, but let me try something. And he was like, Jake, can you breathe really deep for me? Like, put your head down and breathe and hyperventilate. And he got Jake to hyperventilate, which sometimes brings on seizures. And for the first time, not only did he kind of zone out, but his head started to bob a little bit. And the doctor said, I think that's a seizure. I'm not an expert in this, but I think that's a seizure. And we were like,
it was all new.
Seizure?
I didn't know anyone who ever had a seizure.
And we were like, what are you talking about? Because the seizure that we had associated as seizures was falling to the ground and shaking, and the tonic-clonic type seizure. And so we knew nothing about it. He recommended a neurologist who we went to, and then over the course of just going through this whole thing, as Jake's seizures, he developed and started having different types of seizures.
They changed quite a lot. They became very complex, and I think that was the hardest thing, because we finally got a grip on one type of seizure he was having, and then all of a sudden he would have a partial complex,
and we would hear from the doctors, certain kids respond to the first medication. Jake wasn't one of those kids. So Jake was in that 25% of the kids that you need to really keep going. And we learned then, and this is something that we tell people a lot now that are dealing with this for the first time, is that don't stop. I mean, the message that we give people mainly is that there is hope with understanding, there's hope with friends, there's hope socially, there's hope, obviously with treatment and doctors. And if you're not happy with that doctor or you need a second opinion, don't be afraid to do that. And know that you're not alone. And there's a lot of parents like us that are going through this. That's the cool thing about what we're doing now, is we're talking about this. We're getting this dialogue going.
There's always somebody that's been through it, or even though it's been maybe a different road, it's the same in that you're all going through it together. Basically, when one of us was down, the other would build each other up. And that happened all the time. Like, I was in a really bad place and Greg was my rock, and you would just be like, what are you talking about? We're going to get through this. And then vice versa.
Yeah, the way I remember it is I was a disaster and you were my rock. It's not like we sat down and said, okay, this is the way we're going to handle it. It was through a series of me freaking out and Elizabeth going, wait. I've talked to some people, or I talked to the doctor, or I saw this online, or I read this book. Elizabeth was definitely more of the researcher. Together, we kind of were trying to steer us down the road as quickly as we possibly could.
We went through so many emotions, from like, what are you talking about? How this is crazy, to anger, to depression, to like trying to be humorous about it, like in any way we possibly could.
Yeah.
It's not fair, but this is how it is, and you just deal with it.